Thanks for bearing with me. I just wanted to give a quick recap of what we're going to look forward to today. I'm excited to share with you some of the new stuff here at Zoodealio. We have a couple new little tweaks that I think are going to help you. We have a huge launch. Going to go through that in just a moment. And let me open up the chat to everyone. Here we go. All right. We are good and we are live. Thanks for being here with me today. It is just such a cool time because, it's the last quarter of the year. I know we're all looking to really get after it and close out 2025 strong, start 2026 even better. And I believe we're at a really critical point in the market. And I think that we're going to start to see some movement. Maybe if you're in an area that's been a little icy, maybe it's going to start to defrost a little and things are going to heat up, but good stuff happening today. Let me share my screen and let's get into it. I have quite a bit to cover today and I want to make sure we get to it all. So we're going to be taking a look at what is new inside of Zoodealio, just a quick preview of what we've done here, some really exciting stuff that's going to, I believe, translate into more deals for you. We're going to go through how you can reinvent your listing strategy for today's market because things have changed a little bit. We're going to kind of do a skim through of one of our most popular offerings, and I'm going to talk to you about why they copied us. Who is they? I'll get to it in a moment. Maybe share a little bit of a backstory on that as well, just to give you some context, but why it is good news and what that means for us and how we can really use these tools to amp up our business. Let's unpack it. I want to share that we've been working on a marketplace for the buyers inside of Zoodealio. So we have our investor network, and previously the way that investors offered on homes was a little bit difficult, a little bit cumbersome. But the good news is we have launched our ZIP. It's the Zoodealio Investor Portal. And the ZIP now will provide instant access to buyers of the opportunities that meet their buy box and criteria. It also includes a very vigorous vetting process so that we can process and intake new buyers that are accredited and really get the information that we need in order to allow that buyer into the network. They're able to do all sorts of cool stuff inside of the ZIP. They're able to create their custom buy boxes. They're able to make those offers directly from within their marketplace. So when they see that opportunity, they can quickly make that offer. What is that going to mean to you? So the good news for you is you are going to see more offers and better offers. So as time goes on and we start to onboard more buyers into the Zoodealio Investor Portal, you're going to see that increased offering. You may also see multiple offers. So for instance, the Cash Plus offer is now being offered by many investors, and you may see multiple of those. So the idea is to make it ultra competitive so that you can bring the best offers and options forth to your clients. So just wanted to let you know that you might start seeing that. And when you're in your offer dashboard, you may start seeing multiple offers coming through of the same type. So previously you would see the cash offer, the cash plus with repairs, and the sell now, move later. Now you may be seeing even more. So just giving you a heads up. If you see it, that's good news. That means that the marketplace is working for you in your area and you're getting multiple offers returned. It may also be to where you're seeing them a little bit staggered because depending on that investor buyer, when they get in there and make that offer, it might come a little bit later. The same holds true though with the initial return of offers. I just want to highlight they are estimated. And so when you're looking at that cash plus, when you're looking at that sell now, move later, remember they are designed to be full market value cash offers. If you pop one open and you look at it and you instantly know that that number is off, please communicate that to our team. The automated valuation model that returns those offers can sometimes be off, right? And I look at that like as a good thing. It's like if the Zestimate was always accurate, we may be in trouble, right? But we know that human eyes are best equipped to analyze and value a property. So keep that in mind. Another thing that we've done that I believe is going to really help you kind of get that tool at your fingertips is we've moved the PDF creation to your offer tile. So I have a screenshot of it here. When you're inside of your offers, if you click those three little dots on the upper right corner of that offer tile, you will have a PDF option. I'm going to show it to you as well from within the platform. If I can quickly get in here and get logged in, because I think that this is important. We've been asked about this feature numerous times and we did get it moved front and center for you. So let me log into Zoodealio and show you where that's at and how quickly you can access that. All right, so I am inside of Zoodealio right now. I'm gonna go to my client list, and this works for any of your clients, any of the offers. So just gonna quickly pull up Taylor Swift's offers. and show you how to get that PDF easily and quickly. So down here on the offer tile, as I mentioned, it is going to be in the upper right corner. You're going to see these 3 little dots. If you click those 3 little dots, you can download that PDF. What that is going to look like, let me pull it in for you so you can see what that looks like. Previously, these were accessible inside of the offer dashboard, which is the owner's dashboard, and we've moved it inside of your offers as well, because what we learned is that a lot of you wanted to take these, maybe leave a print out of the offer type. The neat thing is it does have that QR code in the upper left. And what I recommend is getting something, bright, like a red pen or even a highlighter, and circling that QR code, letting them know that, hey, if you want to revisit these offers down the line, just scan this. And if they do scan it, what's going to happen is that seller will be inside of their offer dashboard. They'll be able to then digitally look at the offers, see how they've changed, right? Sometimes people keep things for, a while. And so you could be surprised at someone, re-triggering that offer dashboard 3 months from now, right? And so kind of a neat thing to leave with them. It has the breakdown of the offer. It also has how it works. So it gives them that step-by-step guide, as well as the frequently asked questions that a lot of folks have when they're looking at that Cash Plus offer. So these have been moved to, again, inside of your offer tiles. It's in the upper right corner. I'll just show you again where they're at. You click those 3 little dots and you can download that PDF. Now, you still have the ability to do the side-by-side PDF breakdown. That didn't go away. It's right here for you. Keep in mind, if you click the little eyeball, you can hide offers. So if you know, for instance, that a sell now, move later is absolutely not on the list for them because they're not going to stay in the home, they're moving immediately, you can hide that offering and then just see the ones that are appropriate. Now, we do show you the compensation on the bottom, but if you save this as a PDF, that is not going to download onto the PDF. It's only shown to you. So a couple new things inside of Zoodealio. The investor marketplace is huge. It's been a big project for our development team. They've been working on that for months. Huge shout out to our team at Zoodealio, just doing so well with with the timeframes and the constraints that we place upon them. So really proud of them. We really proud of our UI UX designer, Crystal. She is an incredible designer. She has really amped up the Zoodealio platform. We have more things in store. And so we're really excited to start rolling out new features for you. One of the next things that she's working on is some updates to the home report, updates to the offer dashboard. You're going to see a lot of new stuff come in your way, and we're just really pumped about it. So wanted to bubble up the new features that we have now. All right, moving along, because as I mentioned, I got a lot today. I was just feeling extra spicy. I'm excited. This time of year, I think, is a time of year where, yes, there's a lot going on, a lot of fun things going on with the holidays and everything. But I also think it's a unique opportunity for us, because what I know to be true is that a lot of folks just lose steam at the end of the year, and they take we'll wait till January to start working on our business. And so I see this time as really exciting, because if you're diligent and you just really apply yourself, you can accomplish incredible things and just end the year strong and head into 2026 with incredible momentum. And so I wanted to share with you, we've talked about how Open Door copied the Zoodealio Cash Plus. And I even showed you a few months ago, I showed you the actual email that I had sent their CEO. I showed you the response that their CEO sent us. But I want to kind of touch on why they copied us. Before I do, though, I think it's really important to look at maybe the DNA of Open Door. And so I wanted to share these tweets with you because I find them to be alarming. As a realtor first, Zoodealio is built by agents for agents. As a realtor first, it alarms me to see this from the DNA. The chairman of the board, which is Keith Raboy of Open Door, tweeted out that the way to fix Open Door is to kill the agent partnerships. And it was his 4th bullet point in his list, which I think is alarming. Last week, Zillow has been in all the news, right? And all the lawsuits and all the things. And last week, there was scuttlebugs about Zillow now tapping into agents' databases on Follow Up Boss. And so if you're using Follow Up Boss, I'm not quite sure what all the nitty gritty is on that, because I've not dug into it yet. But the takeaway is that now they're going to be retargeting agents' databases. And sadly, I think that us realtors can become so disenfranchised that we really can't even do anything about it. But it's important, I think, for us and who we align with and who we do business with. Now, I'm not saying, if you're a Zillow, partnered agent, it can be wonderful for you, right? And I'm not saying that that's not what we should be doing with our business. But what I'm saying is we should be aware. We should be aware of what's really going on. And when I look at these solutions that come up, I always think to myself, is that a solution that is going to help us as realtors protect the fiduciary relationship, number one? And number two, are they really looking to replace us as realtors? And what I believe and what I know about Open Doors, they didn't show up to help us. They showed up to get rid of us, right? They'd rather their technology be the connection between buyer and seller, and they'd rather make what is, currently an agent compensation. And when you look at some of the tweets that they're sending out, it's alarming. I'm going like, wow, this is crazy. He's literally saying he wants to kill the agent partnerships. Here's another one. So this was a tweet by one of their initial head of products, Evan Moore, and he said, I built Open Doors initial products for agents and I regret it. And Keith Raboy chimes in and says, basically agents will not exist in the future. And so when we think about why they copied the Cash Plus, why they did it, I believe it's because it was inevitable. And here's why. I believe it was inevitable because if you've read any of Simon Sinek's books, Start With Why is one of my favorites, and I've read it many, many years ago. And he talks about this concept of the law of diffusion of innovation, and basically how ideas spread through a society and how quickly they diffuse through society. And you start with the innovators. And I really believe if we are to look at what we're doing with the cash offerings and the leading with different offers and options, I think that we're really early on in that journey. And I would say we're a little bit past the innovators. We're still in the early adopter stage. But what is happening is it's gaining steam. And it's gaining steam for a few reasons. It's gaining steam because, well, first of all, if you look at what sellers Google, they Google fast and cash. When they Google sell my home, immediately they're Googling fast and they're Googling cash. And so as they're Googling this, we know that in their mind, they want certainty. They want convenience. They don't want to, when they first set out on that home selling journey, they don't want the headache. Now, ultimately what we know is many times when they look at the economics of what a cash offer is and how that would skin out for them, they choose to list on the open market. And so that's typically their choice. But when they're first starting that journey, they're thinking that they want a different option. They want a better way. And we have the ability to truly capitalize on that. I really believe with the cash offerings, you can lead with them, right? You can bring them in. They're that sticky fly trap. They're that, curiosity, like, oh, I wonder what the cash offer is for my home. And by the way, our home report does a phenomenal job of explaining how that works for them. And so if you're not using the home report, you got to check it out because you can load up your database on that. You can, set and deploy that on them. And then you can sit back and see how they're interacting with it and read what I call their digital body language. Like, what are they doing on that report? But we do know that fast and cash are the top other things that sellers are Googling in relation to sell my home. And so as we look at how this idea of a cash offer and a fast home sale is, diffusing through our population, I think it's going to happen a lot faster, especially when we start to see the velocity of our transactions pick up. So right now, we know we're at a critically low year for home sales. And it's like giving 1995, but the difference is population growth. We have 70 more million Americans now than we did in 1995. And so when you look at the transaction count comparatively, it's alarming. And also the amount of realtors in 1995, NAR didn't publish data back then. And actually, they stopped reporting numbers in mass about a year and a half ago, right? When all the scuttlebugs with the lawsuit happened. But what we know is there weren't as many realtors. I don't know the exact number, but I'm going to go with it. It was probably around 800, 900,000 in 1995. And so you look at those things, and what that translates to is we're all kind of going after that pie. Now, there is what we believe a way for you to get your unfair share of that. And when you're looking to expand your network of clients, I think that the reality is you've got to lead with something that they want. And we know that they want fast. We know that they want cash. We know that they really value certainty. Here was an email I got, and I screenshotted it. It might be a little small, but I'm just going to kind of read it. It was an email from Todd Walters. He is a coach in the real estate community, and I thought it was really great. He said, home sellers want the same thing you and I want, certainty. They want to know what their home will sell for at a price that makes sense in a time frame they're comfortable with as little stress as possible. That's it. Most agents think it's all about commission. It's not. Sellers aren't obsessed with how much you charge. They're obsessed with whether you can deliver what you promise without the headaches. Because when they sense uncertainty, when they hear vague timelines, generic plans, or the same recycled pitch, they stall, they hesitate. They start looking for someone who sounds more sure. Sometimes they'll even skip the whole process and try and sell it themselves. Can you blame them? Here's the move. Build your message, your presentation, your systems around certainty of outcome, certainty of pricing, certainty of timing, certainty of experience. And when you sell certainty, you win listings. I agree. When I read this, it just spoke right to my soul because I agree. I do believe this. Now, the beautiful thing about what we're able to offer with our Cash Plus with repairs, with their Sell Now, Move Later, is those options don't just evaporate once that home hits the market. And so if you are taking a listing and you're trying the market first, you can always fall back on one of the cash offers. I think that is such a powerful tool. It's such a powerful conversation piece as well, because again, you're selling certainty. And when you take that listing, you're selling them, hey, we're going to do this. You're going in with your plan. And I'm going to show you a refresh strategy here in just a moment. And not only that, but hey, you can try it. And if the market doesn't respond how we want it to respond, we always have one of these other offers to fall back on. Quickly, what is happening in Florida? I report the top 10 cash offer markets for our partnership with BAM Media, and they report these every week. So this past week, I was just like, whoa, look at this. Okay, so Las Vegas is consistently one of the top cash offer markets. But wow, check it out. Naples, Florida's too. Then we've got Houston. Then we've got Jacksonville, Florida. Then Miami, which I will be in Miami tomorrow. I will be headed to EXPCon. If any of you will be there, I would love to connect. I'll be speaking from stage about Zoodealio, because we are the technology provider for express offers. All right, so we've got, and then Atlanta, Georgia is coming in at 6. But then look at that, Fort Lauderdale. So we got another Florida at number 7, then Dallas, then Orlando, then West Palm Beach. A lot of cash offers being sourced in Florida. But, interesting to watch these kind of track and trend over time. Las Vegas has been on the top pretty consistently, pretty much all year. We know that their market tends to be a little bit more, they turn faster. So interesting insights. Just thought I would throw that up as well. But I'm going to ask you a question. What does life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, what does stop, drop, and roll? And what does Goldilocks and the Three Bears, what do they all have in common? And the answer is they all deal with the power of 3. And it turns out when you're presenting or when you're speaking or when you're talking, 3s are powerful. And the reason why is it's not just, woo-woo, it's backed in science. And there is a cognitive reason that this works. It's called Miller's Law. And Miller's Law says that you can hold in your memory 3 to 5 items comfortably, but 3 is the smallest number that forms a pattern. And so we see this triad kind of repeat itself over and over and over again. And what, they've actually found in research is that 3-point arguments are actually rated more persuasive than 4+ point arguments, and people trust 3s more than other things when it comes to decision making. And so there's actually some science behind why that pattern of 3s shows up over and over and over again. And so if you can really harness this and use this to your advantage, I believe working this into your consultation. So when you're going in for a listing consult, how can you work this into your marketing? How can you work it into maybe your compensation structure, right? All the things. But what I've got for you for today is how you can work this into your pitch for listings, because I think it's really important to capitalize on what we know works. And so here's a way you can really refresh your maybe it's a little tired, maybe you've been doing the same consultation over and over and over again, and you're looking to refresh it. And how you can do this is you can weave in the power of 3, also weave in your cash offerings and use it to your advantage. And so perhaps now, going in for that listing, you're taking a different approach. You're going to lead with the cash offers. You're going to go with a coming soon prep to build interest and excitement. And then you're going to end with a full exposure launch on MLS if the cash offerings, if the coming soons don't pan out. And so here's a way you can do that. I love it. So, phase 1 is, of course, the cash offerings, and you're going to use Zoodealio to do that. So you can get inside of Zoodealio. Just for all of us as a quick refresher, I'm going to pop back into Zoodealio. If you're headed to a listing appointment and you want to quickly generate some cash offers for that listing, you just come into your platform, you click the Get Cash Offers button, and you just type in the address and hit register at the bottom, and it's that easy. Now, pro tip, I would finalize the offers if you can before you head into that appointment. Maybe sometimes you can't. Maybe you don't have those photos, or maybe you don't have all of the information. So if you can't finalize them, understood. But if you can, it's a great way to get that final number. We do know that the instant offer and the final numbers can change. And it's something that we're working on through the technology to do a better job of explaining that that is an estimated offer. I will say though, when you get them back, you're going to know they're estimated because, let me show you one. Well, it's going to have the estimated tag here. And then also when you open up that client details, you're going to see the estimated little tag on the upper left. So you do know it's estimated when you see that. So you get those cash offers and you head to the listing appointment. And then that's going to be your phase one is you've got those, you've got them digitally. I showed you how you can get those PDFs. So you're really equipped to walk in and handle it any which way you would like. I do recommend though, at least if you're going to go with the printed PDF version, I would at the very least recommend that you show them the technology, right? You pull up their dashboard and you show them, hey, if you're curious, you can always scan that code and you can come into your live dashboard. Because if they scan that QR code that's on top of the PDF, that is exactly where they're going to land, is back inside of their dashboard with all of their different offers and options. Okay, so then you've got your phase two. And maybe your phase two is your coming soon preview, right? Maybe you have a database of your own buyers that you're going to blast the property out to. Maybe you're going to, do some of your unique things that you do to really expose that home before it hits the market. You're going to build that interest. Maybe you're going to, go get those high quality photos and make a reel prior and reveal that listing through your social media networks. Whatever that might look like for you, the goal is to really build that interest. You're going to gauge the market's reaction to that listing. And that's going to really help the seller feel confident that prior to full launch, you've put some time and energy and effort into that property and really, building that demand for it. And so that could be your phase two. And then of course your phase three is everything that you do when you list that property, all of the different things that you do, all of the strategies that are unique to you. Maybe some that aren't, but you're going to share what those are nonetheless, because you want to make sure that the seller understands that it is a lot more than just keying in some data into the MLS and hitting, go live. There is a lot that you're doing to really obsess about what that's going to look like when it hits the market. And so I love the 3-phase approach because it works with the power of 3, and you can use science to help you convert more listings. And it just makes so much sense to me. So I thought that was a fun thing to share with them. Here is a digital format of, that offering that you could use. You could use this as your guide for your listing presentation. Just goes through the phase 1, the phase 2, and the phase 3. By the way, if anyone would like copies of my slides today, happy to share them. Just send us a quick email and we'll reply back with those slides. You can send that to me directly. It's my first name, Kayla, Kala, @zoodealio.com. Or you can reply back to the email that you got from this. It typically goes out from our support email. But either way, we can always get you a copy of these slides. So as you're looking to close out the year and take more listings, I want to make sure that when we're talking about the cash offers, that we really fully understand them. Because what I see here is a desire for transparency. And I want to make sure that if you're out there and you're talking about these, you understand the ins and outs of how it works. One of the most widely accepted cash offers is the Cash Plus offer. And probably why Opendoor copied it is because it is a better way to cash offer. I mean, it is a beautiful cash offer. And the reason why is because the investor, the buyer, they don't make any margin on the sale. They only make a fixed fee. And so if a homeowner is considering selling their home and they're considering taking a cash offer, one of the key concerns is how much money am I going to leave on the table, right? How much of my equity am I going to give up for this cash offer? And with the Cash Plus offer, they're going to know immediately, firsthand, exactly what the true cost of this cash offer is. And that's why I believe that Opendoor copied it. I believe they had to. I think that what they started seeing happening was us doing it in the marketplace, it working, sellers preferring it compared to a traditional cash offer where they lose a ton of margin, and they copied it. And so because of that, let's educate ourselves on how this works. I do have something exciting to share with you as well. And what that is that I mentioned our investor portal has launched more buyers, better offers, and that's going to start to trickle in. You're going to start to see that impact the offers now and in the near future. And so what we've done, because we really want to encourage you to attend a separate offers training, we do them every day. They're every day at 11 o'clock Arizona time. Let me show you how you can find them. So I'm going to go back into Zoodealio now and show you how you can register for the offers training. So we offer these Monday through Friday at 11. If you attend one, And here's where you find it. You go to the training button, and then you're going to click offers, and then it's going to pop open the Zoom registration, and you can just register for this training. So, and I'm a little early on announcing this. This is rolling out Wednesday, but you're in the know. You're going to get this a little sooner. So yeah. So thank you for attending today. It's a little sneak peek of what's to come. So we are offering, if you attend the training, you will receive a $2,000, which is incredible, a $2,000 bonus on your next Cash Plus. So pretty neat. So I would definitely take the training. Jeremy's going to show a little bit more of the investor marketplace. He's going to talk about why that is, resulting in better offers and more options for you. And then he's going to be going through some of the changes. And so it's a refreshed curriculum, and it's really going to help you navigate the offers, understand how they work, and all of that better. And so please attend. I mean, you're going to have that valuable coupon. So if you do have a seller who accepts a Cash Plus after that, you'll be able to make a little extra cheddar. So I'm going to skim through it though now, because my goal, my heart is for us to really all understand how this works. Because, let's live in reality. I like to live in reality. And the reality is that, there are wonderful things and there are things that, like the fees that aren't so wonderful. But I want to get it all out there. I want us all to be aware of it so that when we're having conversations with sellers, we're not overselling it. We're just sharing what it is and how it works. If it works for them, great. If it doesn't work for them, you always have the option of listing on the open market. And so we like to say the Cash Plus is truly that full market value cash offer. There is also the ability for them to fix and flip their own home. A really neat situation when that happens. It's super fun to watch that play out. And with the Cash Plus offer, if that home sells for more on the open market, then they make all of that upside. And I did just see one that happened this weekend. $20,000 more. House goes on the market and the property just sold for $20,000 more. And it was posted in our Slack channel with some of the little celebration emojis, because it's really cool to see that happen. And that homeowner, then that seller, they make all of that upside. So the first thing is there are 3 steps to that Cash Plus offer. Number 1 is the full market value offer return. And so when that offer is returned in the estimated form, even if it's finalized, if you don't believe that that is a true full market value offer, you need to push back on our offers team. We need that communication. The second way to achieve the Cash Plus is through the reserve. And the reserve is a portion of the seller's equity that is set aside until that home resells on the open market. Now that reserve is dispersed back to the seller depending on what that home sells for on the open market. And there is also transparency of the fees, the resale or the program fee, the resale fee, which includes the agent compensation and resale closing costs. And then if there are repairs into the equation, that is also returned to them up front. So let's talk a little bit more about that full market value cash offer and what you can do if it comes in and you don't agree with it. Now, you might be thinking if it comes in too high that, that's kind of cool, maybe, but the reality is if that full market value offer comes in too high, way over what you believe that home will sell for on the open market, it's not going to do the seller any service on the second sale, because then the reserve will just be returned at a lower percentage, right? Because if the original offer is too high and then it resells in the open market for less, that difference will be deducted out of the reserve, and then the remaining portion of the reserve is returned. And so if it's too high, what that essentially means is they're going to get more of a first payout and less of a second payout, right? If it's too low, if we, return a full market value offer and you're going, this is way too low, well, then what that means is then maybe the seller's not going to get enough on that first payout in order for it to even make sense for them to choose the Cash Plus offer. Then they could get more on the second payout. But typically what we see is the seller wants to get as much as they can on that first payout. And so hitting it at full market value is really the best way to achieve that goal. Now, when you get the finalized offers back, our team should be sending you a snapshot of the comparables and the analysis that they've done. And you can always take a quick look at that. If you see any comps that maybe they shouldn't have used, or if you know of a comp that they didn't use, that's a great time for you to let them know. Also, the reserve, I mentioned this before, it's a portion of that seller's equity, and it is set aside to the second closing. And so typically this is a percentage. It ranges anywhere from 15 to 25%. Some of the reserves have been coming in a little bit higher, especially if you're in a market where there is a lot of inventory, or maybe marketing time is really long. We also know that sometimes this can increase when the offer is finalized. Going back to the Zoodealio Investor Portal and why that marketplace is just so clutch for you is because it's going to bring more demand and more competition into the marketplace for you. And what we're hoping to see is some compression on the reserve fees. But keep in mind that, it is a range. It's anywhere from 15 to 25%. And that is set aside until that home resells on the open market. And then, of course, it is dispersed back to the seller in accordance with what that ultimate resale sales price is. And then we also have program fees. You're going to see program fee of about 6%. This can go up. Again, it depends on the property, the location, the marketing time frame, the amount of inventory. It can also depend on the sales price. And so the neat thing about, the buy boxes, if you will, is they're vast. And so, if you've got a $2 million property that you're wanting to get cash offers on, you're going to be able to get them. And if you have a $100,000 property that you're wanting to get cash offers on, you're going to get them. But typically what I see is on either side of those spectrums, the program fees are going to be a little bit increased. Now, the resale fee, which includes agent compensation and resale closing costs, is 5.5%. Now, of course, your agent compensation is always negotiable. You can always choose to take less, make more. I'll get to that in just a moment. But the program fee, it's something I like to touch on because if you're not comparing apples to apples, this can get lost on the equation, and this is important. So the 6% program fee inside of Zoodealio, that fee is going to cover the buyer's interim holding costs of the property. And so it's going to cover, the interim electricity, the interim water, sewer, trash, HOA, property taxes, interim lawn maintenance, interim interior cleaning, that sort of stuff will be included inside of this fee. So it's a value add for the seller, right? Because they're not having to maintain those costs, and then they're not being charged back all of those costs, which I have seen. I have seen that from others that offer a similar structure. And so really make sure you're comparing apples to apples. And what's also, oh my goodness, if you're comparing apples to apples and you're looking at that open door cash plus offer, what I've learned, because I recently just saw one, is they don't even include their fee in the estimated offer. And they have in teeny tiny, 5-point font, they say that open doors fee will be included in the finalized offer. So you don't even know their fee. It's crazy. All right, so that resale fee is 5.5%. As I mentioned, this covers the listing broker's compensation and the closing costs on the resale. How does that work? And then we're going to talk about buyer agency compensation as well. So how it works is you are paid 2% when the buyer purchases the home. You're paid 2% to relist the home and for that second sale. So a total of 4% is paid to you. Now, buyer broker commissions are negotiable in the contracts, and we're seeing a lot of buyers ask for their broker to be paid by the seller. So that is a negotiated item on the resale. And it is negotiated. If it's negotiated and accepted, then that would be deducted from the seller's reserve. All right, repairs. This topic comes up a lot. And so what I want to address is that the Cash Plus with repairs can be an amazing program for a seller. How it works is if the repairs are proposed during the inspection period and the seller agrees to them, whatever the dollar amount is for that repair will be deducted from the seller's proceeds in addition to the reserve. So that's a common area of confusion, is agents think that it just comes out of the reserve. It doesn't. It is in addition to the reserve. So keep that in mind. But the neat thing is if you know a home needs, carpet paint, and maybe some other little miscellaneous things, and with that investment, it could sell for more, then what a great opportunity to present this option. A lot of people are really equity rich and cash poor, and they don't have the ability to enhance the value of their home when they go to sell it. And so you're bringing them a way that they could enhance the value of their home, perhaps even make more money on the open market because they're doing that. And I'm going to show you a situation where that skinned out and happened. It's really cool when that does happen. Before we go through that example, I want to just do a quick breakdown of the numbers, make sure we're all on the same page with how it works. So here's an example. The offer amount is $500,000. You've got your program fee coming off. You've got your agent compensation and resale fee coming off. You've got a reserve in this situation of 15% coming off, and you've got $50,000 of repairs coming off. And so the first payout to the seller would be $317,500. So that's their first payout. And then when we look at how that reserve gets calculated and dispersed back to them, there are only a couple ways it can skin out. And so the first way is the home sells for exactly what the buyer purchased it for. So home gets listed on the market and it sells for $500,000. In that scenario, it's the cleanest and the easiest because all of that reserve, $75,000, is returned back to the seller. So they get it all, 100%. Now, the second way this could skin out is the home sells for less on the open market. And so let's say it only sells for $490,000. And in this scenario, there is a $10,000 delta from that original purchase price to the resale price. And so that is going to be deducted from the reserve, and then the seller will receive $65,000. The third way, of course, this is the most fun. We love it when this happens. We do little dance and celebrations here when this happens, is the home sells for more on the open market. And in that scenario, the seller would get their reserve plus the upside of the open market. And so if it sold for $510,000, they would get an extra $10,000. And so then they would be dispersed $85,000 for their second payout. So pretty cool. Really only 3 ways that reserve can be dispersed back to the seller. Those are the 3 ways. I just like to make sure that we understand all of the ins and outs of it so that, when we're out there and we're sharing this program, we're not overselling it, right? We're just sharing what it is and allowing them to make that decision whether it's best for them or not. I want to show you a quick before and after. This is from Jacksonville, Florida. Just a home that was a little bit tired. It needed some refresh, and the Cash Plus with repairs just did wonders for it. So that was the before, and that's the after. Just kind of updated and refreshed it. Interior was definitely drab, needed some work. Not a whole lot, but the interior got a refresh, new flooring, new paint, goes a long ways. Inside the kitchen, they definitely redid that, made it look awesome, updated, fresh, great. And as you can imagine, buyers love homes that are move-in ready. So that was another before of the kitchen and after, just some light updating to the bathrooms just to freshen them up and make them look wonderful as well. Blue carpet is not on trend at the moment, and so got rid of that and made it look great. Same with wood paneling, not the best sales point, and so getting rid of that also does wonders. So as you can imagine, this home looked great. Here were the economics and the breakdown of it, all of the repairs that the investor did. And of course, the seller agreed to all of this going into it. And so they were eyes wide open on how this would work. But this home sold for a heck of a lot more on the open market. And because of that, because of the value increase that the investor was able to add by making the repairs, you can see that it increased ultimately the seller's profit after, I love to say this, after the program fee, after the cost of those repairs by $112,000. So a pretty incredible success story. What is possible? And it just shows that there is possibility. It may be the right property. It may not work for all of them. But the neat thing is you have this tool in your tool belt and you can really transform people's lives by this. So pretty cool stuff. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm just really excited about closing out the year strong. I want to mention again that if you attend an offers training, we are going to be showing some more of that Zoodealio Investor Portal, maybe some of the benefits of that marketplace working for you to generate better offers and more options for you. And then also you will get that $2,000 coupon for a compensation bonus. And so that's a pretty neat value add. The buyers in the platform are excited. We're just really looking forward to closing out this year strong and heading into 2026 with incredible momentum. I'm reading the chat. Hi, Marnetta. Glad to have you on today. So in a scenario, some of her reserves have been 50%. That's high. And I would like some feedback on that. When you get that, if you see one like that, could you just let me know so we could dig in and see what's going on there? There are certain markets where, it's just really saturated. Maybe timeframes are longer hold times. And so maybe there's more risk that the investor is pricing into that reserve. If you see a reserve, though, that is really high, then there's definitely some uncertainty around that investor making that offer. I would personally love that insight so I could take a look and make sure that, nothing is amiss, that everything is on target. So thank you for letting me know that. And if you see it, always send us an email. You can send me an email. It's my first name, Kayla, Kala, @zoodealio.com. And I'm happy to, get a second set of eyes on that and make sure that everything is in line there. So appreciate you all being here with me today. Thank you for investing your time and for being a part of Zoodealio. I'm really looking forward to the future. I think good things are happening. The real estate market is going to just pick back up and you are going to get your unfair share of the listings. So thanks for your time today, and I will see you back in a couple weeks.